Hello, everybody. And as I just said 2 seconds ago, this is our recap of the Olympics. Now, I'm going to jump right in. And let's begin with the opening ceremony. Now, the thing that led into the Olympics originally this year was security. People were like, oh no, it's not going to be security enough or whatever. It was all worried about it. And it proved that they didn't have to worry so much. And that was a good thing. Now, we're going to begin with the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony, what Russia had showed, was what Russia is. In the history of Russia. And they started from the beginning of how it was. And they progressed through the time, and it was a good story over a few hours telling about what the host country had in its past. And showing its different times as it progressed, and then obviously went on to now. The thing is their stadium, Fished Stadium, or whatever they called it, was crazy in what they could do with it. The floor went down so that people could walk up out of it, and then they had many things that they could bring up out of the floor. They had like screens that they brought up out of the floor. The top of the roof had stuff come across it. Also, they could bring in many other props, and that was cool. Continuing on with the opening ceremony of the Olympics. At the opening ceremony, like I said, many things were shown of the history of Russia. Progressing from the start, building some stuff, going through the time of building that fancy building in Moscow. Or is that where it was? Moscow or St. Petersburg? One of the two places. They had the building that they showed. Progressing up through their time of stuff. Up to the time of the Soviet Union, where what they did for this one was they had everybody wear the same color, so everybody wore red to show what the Soviet Union was supposed to be, make everybody equal, and things showed that. Then they went past then, and things became what they are now. Obviously, as everybody knows, the Soviet Union is over, and they're trying to get themselves back to being what they used to be before the Soviet Union, a good country that was, I don't know how to put it. They were a country that was up in the world and a good place to live. I guess that's what I meant. But next we're going to take a look into the actual games of the Olympics. What happened during the Olympics, what events happened, crazy things like that coming up right now. And we're also going to show you different things of sort of like what went on basically. And it's going to be pretty fun, so make sure you watch the rest of the video. Obviously don't leave just because I'm standing up. Let's begin with snowboarding and skiing at the Olympics. Now, if you're watching this, yes, this is from my view in America, so obviously we mentioned many things about America. And obviously we'll be talking about Canada and Russia, who are also the main things that they talk about here in America. In their things, mostly Canada, America, obviously because they're the two here, and Russia because that was the host country. And obviously Russia and America always have their thing in the Olympics, where they are always competitors. So obviously they're always going to talk about mainly those three countries. Now, in snowboarding and skiing, they introduced new events this year, and not just snowboarding and skiing, but in the Olympics in general, they introduced new events. Now, what they had was introduced slope style. Basically, you go down, and there's a bunch of hills and beams to slide the board and skis over. And America won gold in both men and women's snowboard slopestyle, and also they introduced the ski halfpipe and women's ski jumping. Well, new events this year to the Olympics. So that was pretty cool. Slopestyle is probably one of my favorite events now. And yes, so next up we have for you the ice events: hockey, figure skating, and speed skating. Now it's time for ice skating, and figure skating. Why the heck is all ice skating? Figure skating, speed skating, and hockey. Also curling. Yeah, because that one's so nice too. First, curling. Watched it for a whole day. So boring. They basically just slide slide some rocks and brush in front of it so it goes further. Anyways, on to something more interesting. First, we'll start with the speed skating. And obviously we got speed skating and the other, what's the other one called? I don't know, but it's all speed skating. They got the one where they go for the fastest time around the track, and they got the actual racing. So in the actual race, they have done many ones. This time they had like a team one that I've seen, and basically you have your members. So what teams were there? There was Netherlands, America, Russia, China, Kazakhstan or whatever they call it. I think it's Kazakhstan or something. Anyways, they were all on the track. First corner, okay, Russia has the lead, going in. Kazakhstan is second. Netherlands third, China fourth, America fifth. The guy from the Netherlands falls, takes out the Chinese guy, so they both go down. And then something happened to the guy from Kazakhstan. Maybe he got somehow messed up in it. Then it's basically America and Russia racing the whole way through because the other ones were out. They were already because it's a very short track. But what you have to do is then the other people are on the inside of the track getting their speed up, and they'll come onto the track and they'll get pushed by the people that are currently on the track. It's crazy. Russia first, America second, and Kazakhstan third. Then we go to the figure skating, and they also, like I said, introduced a new event. Whoa, the wind is definitely blowing here. So you can see the thing on the camera moving. The cord thing. Anyway, so what happened was they introduced a new event, and this in here was team skating. So they had men, women, short program or whatever they called it, team, like the pairs, and then I had another singles one. So what happened is Russia had won every single round, so obviously they got the gold. Canada had got silver, and America got bronze. And there was some people that had stood out from the Russian team. Well, actually one person. Yulia Laplishkaya or something like that. But she was 15 and she was out there skating. I'm like, she's the same age as me and she's just there in the Olympics just skating. So she was in that, helping the Russians win. And then we had on America, Meryl Davis and Charlie White, and they were there and they did good in the team one. And they also went on to win in the pairs event of the skating. And then in the women's competition, another Russian girl, she was 17 and she won that. I forgot what her name was though. But yeah, she won that. And then, like I said, in the pairs skating, America got the gold in that. And then we come to hockey, where Russia used to have a really good hockey team when they were the Soviet Union. And it was always Hockey America and the Soviets, or now Russia. And they would always compete with each other. And obviously, as you know, the Miracle on Ice, which was 1980 Olympics, where America beat the Soviet Union at Lake Placid in New York. But since the time of the Soviet Union, after the Soviet Union fell, Russia hadn't really done good in the thing. So they were like, maybe they can win at home, and then they lost, and they didn't get a medal. And America got bronze, I think they got bronze in men's Or maybe, no, I don't think they actually got a medal in men's. They were like going undefeated too, and then they lost. And then I think, yeah, in women's they got silver. Now I'm going to show you. We have to what is the closing of our recap of the Sochi Winter Olympics, and also we'll have the closing ceremony of what the Olympics had. As you know, all the stuff I've been telling you has happened over the past, well, now watching this video, the day that I made it, the 24th, and also uploaded it, would be the 18th day, because 17th, they had 17 days of the Olympics. Actually, they would have 18 because they had some events before the opening ceremony. But anyways, not to get into the technicalities of it, what the closing ceremony did was continue on almost what the opening ceremony had done. And the opening ceremony had really showed what is the history of Russia, from the beginning of Russia to the Soviet Union and the end of the Soviet Union. Now, what they did in the closing ceremony was do different things with art, literature, and some other things. And then they had the closing of the Olympic torches. They also did similar to the 1980 Moscow Olympics, which a lot of the Western countries boycotted that, along with America, because of the Soviet Union. They were having their things that, in 1984, a lot of the Eastern countries boycotted the Los Angeles Olympics with the same things. Obviously, that was in America. But they had the torch go out and they had a bear, and it was similar to that in these, similar in that to these Olympics. And then we get to see what's going to happen in Pyeongchang, or whatever they call it, 2018. And then, did the let's wave the Olympic flag, and then they handed it over to Pyeongchang, and we got to see sort of what they did, what they're going to have in Pyeongchang. They had a guy playing like a 12-string instrument, and then some dancing and stuff like that. But that's what you can expect over it. And also, what they had in the opening ceremony was they had the Olympic rings, which they don't ever want, and one of the circles didn't open. So what they did in the closing ceremonies, they had people out there making the circles, which was part of it. I imagine they had planned it in, but this time they had the people to stand in the spot, sort of make fun of their mistake. But that was my recap of the Olympics, and I hope you liked it, and hopefully you guys did end up watching the Olympics. If not, 2016, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and that is going to be the Summer Olympics, and Pyeongchang, 2018, South Korea, Winter Olympics, and 2020, Tokyo, Japan, Summer Olympics, and coming next year, and that's 2022 Olympics.